We have yellow buff represented by the color blue and Gangrene Gang up top as the color red. This is obviously colorblind mode. So, yeah, you don't see purple, you see red. It's a little bit easier on the eyes. But looks like yellow buff, interesting positioning, have all 5 players in the mid lane right now. They're not spreading out at all. Perhaps kind of waiting for Gangrene to establish their position before they start roaming around as a team. It does look as though they are going to be aggressing a little bit here. We have an interesting ward placement here at the river entrance from Gangrene. They really want to scope out the entire jungle as we have Warwick up here scouting the red buff. Very cool Warwick skin, by the way. And it seems as though they're not going to invade. That is Gangrene Gang. They're going to be sticking here at the blue buff for a little bit of defense. And I have to say their vision is very strong here. Taking a look at Gangrene.
Quite a bit of vision here.
Yellow buff not relying on any ward placements, rather they have that Maokai putting a nice little gift wrap surprise at the river bush there in case Gangrene wants to aggress into that bush at all. But I think we're going to see a very standard start here at Pureshield. No level 1 invades, no CJs at all. Straight up League of Legends here on the Summoner's Rift. Just the way I like it, actually.
We had a lot of level 1 fights for the qualifiers. It was a little ridiculous at that point. It was a little bit too much, I think.
Yeah, there was pretty much every match. Looks like a fairly strong leash here from TF. It looks as though he may have stolen a little bit of EXP there from Maokai. Perhaps not, though. I do want to keep a close eye, though, on, Jungle Kale. As Kale is kind of an uncommon jungler for the most part. Just adjusting my audio really quick there, guys. You want to give us a quick mic check as we get started with the first match today. How do we sound? Any
we sound good. We sound good.
The balance, all gravy. I think we're good. Taking a look up top, it is going to be Lanewick versus Kennen, and also TF versus Katarina mid lane here. I think the top and bottom lanes are going to be heavily dependent on the junglers. It seems as though, with the exception of perhaps the mid lane, this is going to be a very even match so far. Tarek down bot versus Janna. That's going to be an interesting one as well. Looks like more of a kill lane from yellow buff versus more of a sustain-friendly Corki poke comp from Gangrene down bottom. No early action here from the junglers. Donovan McNerd on the Kale jungle, picking up red and blue, fusing those 2 colors together to create that yellow buff. Yeah, did you guys pick up? But he is going to go for a level 1, or excuse me, a level 2 gank on Kenner right now. He might be forced into using a flash right now, perhaps. Yikes, down goes the early ignite. Lestrudel taking 2 tower hits there from a dive.
Oh, wow!
Granted to Donovan McNerd. Playing it very close to the chest as he took 2 tower hits himself. Overall, very swift calculations from the Gangrene Gang up top, landing that very early first blood on Ken. That's going to put them pretty far ahead in this match, especially given that with enough farm, Lanewick can sustain for days. It can be very hard to counter lane him, man. Especially if you get that first
absolutely.
blood. So
this
overall,
does also set Kennen back a lot more because he had a huge pile of mobs, and they're just getting slowly picked away by the friendly minions over there. So missing some last hits as well. If you look at last hits right now, Ken has 8, Warwick has 12. Warwick is going to catch up, get a little bit more advantage.
Oh no, Payu might go down to an ignite right now. He does die to an
go down to the ignite.
With that potion active, he's getting harassed, bullied in his tower by TF right now. Could we see Payu defeated mid lane perhaps? That was quite an impressive play from Slushy right now. And Kale, a little bit late to the party, perhaps should have lended a hand in the mid lane before going up top. But again, that stun from TF can be so difficult for ganks. Taking a look at Follow Me on Twitter, I believe this is a 2K solo queue player. Very impressive score there. But he is going to be jungle Maokai in the enemy jungle right now. Looking all holiday themed with red and blue active. He can place those saplings everywhere when he has blue up. Playing actually very aggressive positioning at enemy tribush right now. Taking a look at all this damage down bottom. Look at this cleave. Will we see Graves go down? Down goes the early ignite, forcing the flash. Valkyrie on top.
Oh,
early ignite again.
Teach me how to Corki right there. Very nice.
Is going to trade there with Tarek. I think Tarek landing that last hit with an auto attack. And look, showdown of the supports.
Go down.
He might chase this. Yeah, he might have had Dazzle up. But yeah, that was kind of a close call there. Overall, an even exchange.
They just murdered Payu again, middle.
Let me just go back really quickly there. We did see a successful gank from Maokai at the mid lane. Payu now giving up 2 kills. Let me just see that really quickly. Yeah, very difficult. He went in the wrong direction right there. Back to live. Up top.
Oh, apparently according to chat, his mouse broke.
Really?
Yes, that's what he typed. I mean, if you called it, then it's like his mouse broke. So I mean, the Payu fans though are probably not very happy with his performance right now. But it's okay, guys. His mouse broke. That's all. That's cool. It's cool now.
Wow, that's unfortunate, given that he did have some connection issues the last time Gangrene played. Man, somebody needs to get Payu some working hardware here, as he is now down 2 kills versus TF. TF picking 1 kill and an assist. Let's take a look at his farm. 33 versus Katarina's 24. He's going to need some serious help from Kale if he wants to get back into position for his regular snowballing tendencies. But that doesn't appear to be happening right now. We may have to rely on Corki and Warwick for the majority of the damage coming from Gangrene, or perhaps just on that jungle Kale hard carry, as she has been very effective so far. Overall, taking a look at Global Gold, Yellow Buff is slightly ahead with about 1,000. Actually, it's not very slight at this point in the match. They're considerably ahead. Even though Gangrene did land that first blood, it seems that they fell behind on farm for the most part. What do you think, Pureshield? Are they a little bit off their game here? Is Katarina's defeat imminent? Could this perhaps be the first Payu falling behind here on Katarina? I don't really know what to say about it, as he is kind of notorious for dominating on Cat, and it's not happening this game. Look at Maokai dealing lots of harass here on Corki, even landing that Arcane Smash combined with the Sapling, forcing him back into his tower while sustaining little to no damage at all. It seems as though Yellow Buff is considerably in control right now, which is a little bit scary. Taking a look at bot lane for Gangrene, they're forced into the tower humping status right now. Up top, looks like Warwick pretty low on mana, but he is the sustained king. He can heal up pretty quickly. Taking a look at his farm, 33 versus Kennon's 39. They do appear to be losing pretty much every lane right now. This is not looking good for Gangrene. What do you think? Is this TF going to be triumphant mid lane, man? He just unlocked his ultimate.
This TF actually might be triumphant mid lane. Yeah, I mean, this is a very skilled player, as you can see. And also, Payu hasn't got to the point where he can sustain yet. He hasn't had his spell ramp items yet. So maybe we'll see a little bit of a comeback. Perhaps there's an opportunity there for a comeback, but it will require some help from Kale. Like, Kale really needs to help that lane. Once he hits 6, you should go that lane and give it some love. I mean, Maokai and Kale are both level 5 right now.
Yeah, Maokai, does he have his flash up? He does. He may go in for a tower dive here, but Kale close by. They seem to be really wanting to shut down this Katarina. That could have been their strategy all along. That root combined.
Yeah, like, we'll give him Cat, but we'll shut him down.
Yeah, the root combined with the stun from TF. My thoughts go out to Payu. I hope he can come back from this. Although, there he goes with some Death Lotus Flash Ignite combo. Not enough. There goes the Flash root from Maokai. Will this be enough damage to kill Payu? It does appear so.
Oh, look at that!
He turns around and grabs the kill on TF.
Oh, that invisibility saved him! Oh no!
Almost saved.
My God.
Sapling picking up that last hit.
Oh,
that was really close call there from Payu. Nice,
so close.
Nice reaction time from Donovan McNerd up top. Warwick does go down to a tower dive from Kennen. In fact, it wasn't even really a dive. He perhaps just got a little bit too confident and ate that ignite there. Gangrene turning the tides a little bit right there, picking up the kill on TF.
They're still really behind.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, look at that Graves farm compared to the Corki's farm though. That's the X factor here, right there. If you look at that right now, he's leading by almost 40 farm right now. That's 3 kills, almost 3 kills. That's a lot of that's a huge difference. If Graves get out of control, like we're concerned a lot with this mid lane, but again, end of the day, AD carries are what carries the game.
They need to be really careful right now. They are super extended, and they just caught sight of that Kale descending down bottom. I think Donovan is aware of that. He's going to pull back and not waste too much time with that gank attempt. Meanwhile, we're going to be handing off the blue buff to TF here, which is not going to be pretty for Payu, as he's going to struggle even more with that mid lane. Although I did want to say, late game advantage in terms of team comp, I didn't really see this from the start, but Kale's ultimate combined with a Death Lotus and Spell Vamp on Payu could prove to be very unpredictable. Depending on when that ultimate goes down, he could heal up and turn around just like we saw against that Maokai moments ago. And that will really start to shine later on when Payu starts to rack up more ability power. It seems to be very powerful comp that I wasn't really aware of before. What do you think? Invulnerability during a Death Lotus?
This is something they were going for. I mean, you have a Warwick Peels, right? I mean, as long as the Strudel, I mean, Kennen is so hard. It's so hard to lane against this Kennen, and he is doing an AD Kennen build, I believe. I mean, he's getting 2 Doran blades. So I guess this is some of an AD carry. There's a kill on down. That was so fast
from a DOT. Actually, how did he die there? Not really sure. But Chase, look at how far back Gangrene Gang has been forced into their tower. This is so uncharacteristic of their team, as they, usually have their mid lane roaming around, ganking with the jungle left and right. It does appear that Yellow Buff is going to be able to grab this dragon after the AD from Gangrene falls. This will be uncontested for the most part, as Katarina had to go back for some items. And that's going to put Yellow Buff even further ahead now, about 5,000 gold at this point, which is not good for the Gangrene gang.
No, absolutely not. I mean, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble here if they do not, make something happen right now. Slushie playing a very good game right now, and Kennen not too shabby up top. Even though he gave first blood, he's not being shaken. 60 farm versus Warwick's 48.
Yeah.
Farm overall. Look at the highest farm for the game.
Oh, here comes a TF teleport with a stun on Warwick, but a prime time on that invulnerability from Kayle. Warwick is going to suppress Kennen. Will they be able to deal enough damage? It seems as though Kayle and Warwick have to pull back here. Kayle's very low on HP. She doesn't have her ultimate up. They need to be careful that they don't give up another kill. But look at this. Pyu's roaming from the bot lane. Looks like he wants to go through Tribush. Big mistake as he just got spotted by that ward. But the Shumpo with the gap close on TF, will it be enough damage? I don't think so. He needs to pull back. He seems to be stunned.
So I think his mouse broke again.
Yeah, just standing there. Seems Pyub is having some technical difficulties. I don't think they have the damage for this, but no! The Ignite goes down with the Death Lotus. TF very low on HP, and he is going to go down to a swipe there. From we see a double. Kennen picks up the kill on Katarina. A relatively fair exchange, in fact, given that TF is worth more gold than Katarina at this point in the match. Pretty interesting exchange up top. I think Pyub really struggling here with either his mouse or connection issues or something. He was standing there for about 5 seconds. I'm not really sure what that was all about, but they had complete vision of him ever since he went up to that Tribush. That could have gone a lot better in their favor.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And bot lane, we might see another kill here at bot lane on Janna. She is very low right there. Oh, that was a close call overall. But I just want to draw your attention to the highest farm game. Look at that right now. And be surprised. Who has the highest farm?
Yeah, Kayle, the highest farm.
That's you don't want to be in that position.
You do have to factor in with the jungles, the small rays and the small wolves and all that. But in general, she does appear to be top on gold. Let's take a look. Yeah, no, actually, Warwick has more gold than her, and so does Katarina. Yeah. But yeah, she has been definitely staying on top of her farm. Donovan McNerd showing us that Kayle jungle, what it's all about. He's probably going to take this blue for himself, given that Katarina is relatively far behind. Pretty wise choice.
She doesn't really need it.
Yeah, she doesn't. Well, the additional CDR is pretty helpful, but yeah, Kayle's going to grab up that blue, and it looks like Maokai is going to roam bot, but look at how far pushed in Gangrene's bot lane is. Has harmed Corki's farm, although he has been pacing quite well with this tower. That tower appears like it's going to go down around the 15-minute mark or so. It seems Yellow Buff is kind of holding off on that push. Look at this, though. Kennen comes in from behind.
Oh, wow.
And Payu.
Too little, too late.
Shumpoing right there, right on top of TF, completely turning around that Genkatev. Will Kayle go down? She has her ultimate. The ultimate is used on Katarina. Death Lotus does not go down.
Oh,
it's on cooldown. Shumpoing on Kayle. She's going to get picked off by Kennen yet again. Will Warwick give up a kill right now? No, he's going to chase Kennen through the bush. Maokai, not enough damage. Look at this. They might be able to turn this around. Follow me on Twitter. Oh. Oracles might die here to a dive. Corki just uses Valkyrie.
They're going in. They're going in for this.
Graves clotheslining with that buckshot. That could have been very powerful. If Corki was just a little bit faster there, could have landed a kill on that Oracle Maokai. Would have been huge for Gangrene. But they are slowly turning this around right now. And Pyub slowly getting back into this now. His second kill. He also has 2 assists. Although with those 6 deaths, he has been harmed quite a bit on farm. But I wouldn't put him past him. I wouldn't put it past him to turn us around right now. What do you think?
Well, for someone who's comfortable with champion, there's always a good recovery game. That's what defines your comfort. If you're really good at champion, see how well you can recover. If you're like 0-6, can you make it to like 11-6 by the end of the game? And that's what really, like, being familiar with champion. That's why people ban specific champions. They don't want risk a recovery game. So Pyub, his main champion, he does have a recovery game plan probably. He has 3 wards, but has not dropped any of them yet. I'm wondering what he's really waiting for. Right now, at this point, TF can clear 1 lane with just
look at this. A ping from what looks to be the Warwick player coming down mid. Wants to gank this TF right now. It's not going to happen, though, as Maokai is in a great spot to turn that away. It seems as though Pyub is kind of against the ropes right now, getting his tower pushed really hard. It is affecting his farm, and he has to be careful that he doesn't exchange with TF at this point in the match. That stun combo is dealing about 20% of his health right now. Vision Ward goes down for Gangrene, spotting around. Looks as though they're going to hand out another blue to TF right now, which will give Pyub a small window of opportunity to catch up a bit on farm. But as a whole, they need to start thinking about shutting down Twisted Fate right now, as he is really what's keeping their carry out of the match, pretty much single-handedly right now. Perhaps the best counter lane that we've seen so far to Katarina, at least Pyup status Katarina, is a Twisted Fate, man. He has been dying here and there, though. Overall, though, I do want to take a look at the AD farm. As Pureshield stated a little bit earlier, that is very important. Looks like Kale is shrouding a gank down here. I don't think Yellow Buff is the least bit aware of this. They are just waiting for Tark to overextend just a tad bit, perhaps waste his Dazzle. We might see a full-on die from Gangrene. Meanwhile, Pyup chasing through the jungle, getting picked off by Maokai, but landing another kill on TF. A fair exchange.
Maokai didn't get that assist. Did you see that? Maokai did not get the assist, apparently.
Yeah, lots.
He even grabbed on to Katarina. I think Kat died a second before Maokai's animation come to completion.
Look at this. Looks
so
like
there was no
see
assist
a
given
tower
now.
dive here from Maokai and Kennen. Kale spending way too much time on a Stratic gank. She is going to pull back now after she realizes she needs to help out the other lanes. It seems like Yellow Buff is going really far to shut down this Katarina, and I don't disagree with that, as they have been chasing her in and out of the jungle, but they haven't. They were definitely successful with it in the early game, but perhaps due to the fact that Pyup is having technical difficulties, I really think he's going to come back from this, man. I really do. Combined with the Kale ultimate and the Death Lotus, we could see that completely shred in a team fight. I'm super excited to see how that turns out a little bit later.
Well, it hasn't been a single team fight yet, so this game is far from over, even though there's a huge advantage by Yellow Buff due to farm.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this Graves farm right now, 142. He's stacked beyond belief right now. He's just simply stacked.
Yeah, absolutely. Graves is getting pretty scary. Taking a look at Corki's 70 farm. Graves now doubling him on farm. This is just, that's a huge, huge setback for Gangrene Gang. They're going to have to shut down this Graves. They have to get Corki some more farm. But they've been bullied under their towers so bad, man. That Dazzle Buckshot has proven to be so powerful, as we speculated early on. They just can't sustain against it. They need a Sirach or something to go with this Grace. Look at this TF. He's going to be focusing down Corki, but a prime time ultimate from Janna straight into two
Such a good ultimate!
Jungle. They might land a triple here, but no, they aren't going to pursue this. Oh, wait a second. Warwick, growing some balls, wants to focus down Graves, but smart to pull back there as Maokai is in position. Lots of turrets going down all over the place.
They're going to go for a dragon right now, even though top objective has fallen for Gangrene Gang. If they get this dragon, though, they'll be a little bit closer to being back in this game.
Absolutely. If this is going to be a team fight here, the ultimate does go down on Corki. Corki needs to get out of there. He doesn't even have mana for a Valkyrie right now. Katarina needs to land a prime Death Lotus, otherwise they're not going to win this team fight. Look at this. Kennen pushing top. I don't know if I agree with that. They can't really win a 4v5 right now. But look, Gangrene's going to pull back
look
here.
how flat Graves is. Yeah, Gangrene Gang's going to be forced to pull back in this situation. I mean, they can't force to disengage on a dragon.
Wow.
Maokai, they'll try and tackle this dragon, though. They can go back for it.
They are going to pull back and allow the yellow buff team to take this dragon.
That's such a bad move. I think they catch it on the side, though. Or do they catch vision of this?
They definitely saw Graves moving in there. Yeah, I don't know
Maybe
what that's
they're just afraid
about.
of this Graves. I think they're afraid of this Graves. This Graves right now is super fed, but I don't know. I think they should have. Oh, the game has been paused.
Yeah. Gangrene's jungle
exactly.
pausing the game, perhaps due to more hardware difficulties. Yeah, he's getting a new mouse right now. That is probably the Katarina player. Man, if he has been losing because of his mouse difficulties, that's such a shame.
That is a shame. Truly a shame. But let's take a look at this and analyze the situation right now. We have a really fed AD carry and a semi-fed top and mid for yellow buff. We have a Katarina that's might come back to a snowball, and we have nothing else for Gangrene Gang. Obviously, this game is highly in favor of yellow buff right now. But the X factor here is we haven't had a single team fight yet, like a full-on team fight. And I do foresee one very soon at mid tower. And they're going to probably fill up and try and push mid. Yellow buff is right after this situation. They just got a dragon. They're going to go back purchase. Graves probably has enough for his Infinity Edge. I just want to see how much gold he has. He has 2,158. Maybe not enough for Infinity Edge yet. But yeah, he's probably going to go back, purchase another item, and then they're going to go and push mid. And pretty much try and force a team fight. Because they have what it takes to team fight right now. They're 8k ahead.
I have to say, I don't agree with Gangrene's strategy of allowing that dragon to fall. That's the third dragon now for yellow buff. It's a big problem. Here we go with the resumption. But I do want to say, yeah, the X factor, of course, is shutting down Graves and allowing Corki to get some more farm. AD is obviously the most important late game champions. But this Death Lotus combined with Kale's invulnerability could completely sway the tides of a team fight, especially if they decide to focus Katarina. And I think they have the coordination to really know when to make that happen. And I think it's going to be very difficult to shut that down. So I'm very excited to see that happen. I have to say, I'm feeling like Gangrene is going to win the first team fight, man. I really do.
I have to say Yellow Buff will win the team fight if it happens within the next 5 minutes. But, yeah, but that is going to happen within the next 5 minutes. I see it.
That's a very fair point. It would be very wise for them to make the team fight happen as soon as possible because they do have a massive lead right now. Their Graves, like you said, is very far ahead. In fact, all their champions are far ahead, with the exception of Jungle. Kale has been able to pace quite well with Maokai. Yet another pause. Really, the Gangrene Gang is the only team in our tournament who has utilized the pause function. It looks like their Warwick player has 4,000 MS right now. Not really sure what that's all about.
But I don't know how you can get 4,000 MS.
But Gangrene is being pretty apologetic about it, as they have had, multiple problems so far in our competition. Hopefully Warwick can get to the bottom of his connection issues right now. Yeah, he seems to be okay. We can't really do anything when it's paused like this, guys. I don't know why Riot allots 30 minutes per team for a pause, but yeah, we can't. Like, we could show you different scenes and such, but I can't pan around a map or anything. That's all right, though. Here we go with another resumption. Hopefully we're done with the technical difficulties so far in this match.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Never, ever again.
A little bit of a standoff mid lane as minions have completely reset now. Pyub cannot exchange blows with TF. Ooh, absolutely, yeah, misstep there. Eating more of these cards than necessary. Maokai looks like he wants to come in for another gank mid lane. They could easily tower dive this with a stun, but Kale in position to turn that around. No problem. Nothing really happening anywhere else on the map. Warwick needs to be careful he doesn't get caught out of position as well. Looks like Kale's going to try to shroud a gank here, perhaps. Nope, they just got sighted that. Maokai now on the retreat as he is a little bit too far into enemy jungle. Could get picked off by 3 players, but no. Looks like everyone is positioning now for a team fight. Jana needs to go around this wall and not through that bush, as that would be very devastating to run straight into their team. Here we go with the initiate from Maokai. We have to see a suppression here from Warwick on the right target. There it goes on Maokai of all people. Oh my goodness. There goes the ultimate on Pyub.
Oh.
It looks like Yellow Buff is going to take this team fight completely one-sided. There's a really, really poor positioning there from Gangrene. We saw the suppression from Warwick on Maokai. And also, Katarina forced to pull back, and the ultimate was not used for the Death Lotus. It was used to keep her alive at the expense of Kale's life. That was a huge blunder. I don't see Gangrene coming back from this at this point.
No, I think they need to think deeply, be in deep meditation about their next game. Because if they lose the next game, they're out of the tournament, and they're a fan favorite. I mean, it'd be unfortunate to see them leave this, but at the same time, though, Yellow Buff is playing so well. They're a newcomer here, and they might even pose a threat to reboot if they play well. I mean, look at their ratings, right? I mean, if ratings reflect things, then that means they're the only ones who truly have a chance. But really, Gangrene game, next game, I think that to make sure they stay in the tournament, they have to pick the right fights, and they have to win lane. They lost every lane in this game. Every lane was lost.
Yeah, they definitely dropped the ball big time, and it's a damn shame that it seems that they're having a fair amount of technical difficulties, which is so unfortunate. We never want to see people lose for any other reason besides the fact that they got outplayed, and that doesn't seem to be the case today. I want to see Gangrene come back in Game 2 at their fullest, but this game's not over yet. These are all, today's matches are all round of 3s. So obviously they have a chance to come back. They win the next match, actually the next 2 matches, in order to advance. Hopefully we'll see a draw. So maybe we need to give them a little bit of time to sort out their technical difficulties. Just pausing mid-game is, not really the best way to deal with that. But they just took down mid lane turret. They are now roaming around in 5s. Well, Gangrene is, for that matter. They're going to get spotted by that sapling, kind of waiting for the dragon spawn. It's not going to come for another minute and a half or so. Right, Mr. Lau?
Well, yes, it was around 18 minutes that the dragon was taken. So, I mean, 2 minutes, a minute.
Yep.
And 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
I'd say if Gangrene gives up another team fight, that's pretty much going to seal the deal. So they need to be careful that nobody gets caught, gets picked off here. They pretty much have to roam around in 5s and make sure that they execute that ultimate on the Death Lotus with Kale's intervention to the fullest. She needs to I would like to see Katarina initiate, is basically what I'm saying. I want to see her initiate and Death Lotus, and then when she starts to get focused, perhaps about 40% HP, that's when you use the intervention, and that's when Warwick comes in and suppresses. I think that's really the best way they could bait Yellow Buff into a full-on attack into that Death Lotus. What do you think?
I think that Katarina's Awesome's probably built maybe get Riley's first rather than finishing up the Will or the Death Cap. The way he planned his build right now is a lot of people probably question the 2 books right now, but the only reason he did that was he's calculating how many times he's died and how many times he's gone back, and to have the lane advantage. So he'll keep those 2 books for now, for sure. I'm not sure what he's going to upgrade those into. Picking up a blasting wand, that's either going to be for a Death Cap or finishing up a Will of the Ancients. He definitely needs some more time to make sure that he can get to that. I mean, snowball champions, once you get to that late game snowball champions, they're considered the highest damage in the game.
Yeah.
Essentially because of their AoE capabilities or single target burst. Obviously, the consistent DPS is not higher than AD carry, but if you're a snowball champion like Katarina or Akali, you're meant to get to that late game and just be on top of things.
Gangrene's gonna lose their blue there.
Unstoppable at that point. Yeah, they just lost. I mean, the only way they can keep themselves safe right now is they need to ward their own jungle and just buy as much time as possible.
Janna has been roaming around quite a bit, placing wards in enemy jungle with that Oracle's active. Although I did want to comment on the build as well that you kind of gave your feedback on. I do feel like Pi would be wisest to rush a Will right now, a Will of the Ancients, simply because you want that extra spell vamp for the initiation. I really do feel that's the only way they can come out of this one, is if she lands a prime Lotus and pretty much cleaves their entire team down. And with the extra lifesteal from that, she will be able to do that a lot more effectively with the intervention. That would be what I would do if I were in Pyu's shoes. But he is the pro Katarina player. I'm not going to pretend I know more than him. Let's see what he picks up, though, as he is going back. He did pick up a needlessly large rod there, and a Will of the... Oh, wait. He finished off his Will right now.
He finished off his Will.
It looks like he probably wants to go for a Death Cap next. So it appears as though Paiup is now ready for the next team fight. Corki closing in from behind. Could we see it happen here at the base tower in the bot lane? This could be the last stand for Gangrene Gang, as they now are about 1,300... or 13,000 rather, gold behind, which is a huge margin. Here we go. There's the initiate. Paiup cannot afford to take damage like that. He needed to Shumpo right then. Warwick's going to get focused down, and this is not looking good. There goes the intervention on Warwick as he runs away. No, Gangrene is so done right now. They just got pursued base Doven right there, and actually borderline fountain dive right there, as Yellow Buff is just saying, we do not care about your carries. We're going to focus the hell out of you, and there's no way you're going to come back from this. And that appears to be the case, as Graves and Maokai just were able to focus targets so well right there in that encounter. They could not afford to have anybody picked off like that. They can't afford to have Kale's ultimate wasted, and Paiup basically forced back right there. It seems as though Gangrene is not on top of their game right now, man.
No, they're definitely not on top of the game. They have, you're getting caught out of position way too often. I mean, they have a sense of overconfidence. I mean, they shouldn't be overconfident, first of all, right, against these guys. I mean, Yellow Buff does have the rating advantage. Here comes maybe a semi-exchange, though. Are they going to get a nice... That's a nice pick-me-up on Graves. And they're going to do some cleaner here. Nope, they're not going to get anyone. Wow. It's kind of a waste of time.
Yeah, Graves did go down there to Katarina, but it's really too late. Well, actually, they're picking up Maokai too. Perhaps Yellow Buff getting a little bit careless after grabbing those 2 inhibitors. Could we see them get chased down even further, as Corki... Nah, it doesn't appear he has the manage to chase this all the way for kills. But I think they're doing just fine so far. TF tries to TP out of there. Actually, we might see Gangrene chase this all the... Wow. Look at this. Does Paiup have his flash up? No, he doesn't. They are going to settle for taking this tower right now. But they were able to pick up 4 kills back there, just picking up the Taric right now, turning that around.
This game is not over yet, judging by that. I mean, that was fairly
careless there. It appears as though we're having some technical difficulties in the stream. Not really sure what that's all about, friends and viewers. I appear to be doing just fine on my end. We apologize if there's some sort of issue going on there. If you missed out on that, basically we saw the Gangrene Gang lose 2 players to a whole-on base dive, as well as 2 inhibitors from the Yellow Buff, but then turned it around as soon as their Kale came back up. They were able to chase down 4 kills all the way into the bot tower here. So not out of the game yet, but certainly it's going to take a lot for them to come back.
Very behind. Very behind. I mean, if you're 12k you go behind, generally that's about the GG, but they're not giving you up quite yet. I mean, that's commendable. I mean, most people right here with a server right there, they're gonna fight to the end. They're gonna fight the full 50 minutes, wherever it takes, until Yellow Buff makes a mistake and pretty much a or Yellow Buff, someone DCs. That's anything can happen in the game. And pretty much at this point, though, because of the rules, and if anyone DCs, we're not allowed to restart the game. So if that does actually happen, to be unfortunate, but someone might actually take a loss because of that. If you do have a Baron engaged right now, the base is going to be about to push in, though, by a wave of minions.
The first Baron attempt here for the day.
So fast.
From Yellow Buff. Look at the damage output there from Graves, as they pretty much just obliterated that dragon uncontested. Gangrene was aware of the positioning, I do believe, but they were just helpless to stop it. Blue Ping's going down for top tower. Looks like they want to take 3 inhibs. Push this slowly, safe. They don't want to give up another 4 kills. Look at how fast TF can push this tower down, one-shotting that tower with the Lich Bane active. Yeah, it appears as though they are going to lose this last inhibitor and probably get pushed for the win here. But we just saw Kale, I believe, pick up that eye. Who just picked up an eye edge right now? That was Corky. So we're going to see some extra damage here from Gangrene. Possibly. There goes the Initiate from Warwick. And a Tornado landing on 4 players. A nice ultimate from Janna pushing back Kennen's ulti. Where is Katarina's damage? She needs to make it happen now. There's the Lotus, getting all 3 players active, shutting down Kennen, but losing her life. Where was the Kale's intervention? I didn't see where that went down, but it's too late, really. They weren't able to overcome. They didn't have enough damage. The tanky team from Yellow Buff is just too much, and that's pretty much going to be GG right there, as they are going to get crit mass and lose these towers. TF is still up to push with that Lich Bane. What you do, basically... Yeah, there goes the surrender. That was a pretty exciting game, although unfortunately we had some technical difficulties on Gangrene Gains and possibly costing them the victory. Unfortunate that happened, but we are going to see another match between these two teams, a best of 3. Hopefully everyone's on their A game for the next one, including us, by the way.